Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the January 18th. Finally have a school board meeting now that we have very little snow, and unfortunately we have more snow coming. Don't y'all smile. Welcome again. We'd like to start just with a moment of silence, please. Thank you. If you'd like to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So thank you all for coming out on a cold night with snow in the forecast, and it's an important meeting for us here in Pulaski County as we reorganize, and just would like to start by welcoming you all and saying thank you for, this is difficult and challenging being a board member, and we certainly appreciate having you on board, and welcome, and we look forward to working with you in the next year. So congratulations on your appointment, and welcome to Pulaski County.
Thank you. Thank you.
Start with nominations for the chair of the chairperson of the school board for this year. The floor is open for nominations.
Mr. Graham, I would like to nominate Josh Taylor as chairman.
Thank you, Ms. Cox. We have a nomination. Any
I
others?
second the nomination of Josh
thank you.
Taylor as our chair.
Thank you. So we have Mr. Taylor as a nomination. Do we have any others? Okay, thank you. We need to have a motion to approve Mr. Taylor as the chairman of the board, of the school board of Pulaski County for the term of a year.
Mr. Graham, I make that motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Thank you, Ms. Payne. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, I'll gladly turn over the gavel to you there, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you. Thank you, Rob.
Those who know me, I'm a man of few words, so I'll just say that I'm honored to be able to serve the school district, and I'll do my best to serve it in a very positive way. So, that being said, we're going to open the floor up for nominations for vice chair. Hearing nominations.
Mr. Chairman, I nominate Gina Payne for vice chair.
Second?
I'll second that.
Any other nominations, discussions? Hearing none, we have a motion to appoint Gina Payne for vice chair of the Pulaski County School Board for a term of 1 year.
I second that.
I have a first. Says you're the first.
Okay.
Second?
I'll second.
Ms. Porter?
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Next on the agenda is appointment of the clerk, and it's the board's recommendation that we appoint Ms. Teresa Porter as school board clerk. Any discussion? Hearing none, do I have a motion to appoint Teresa Porter as school board clerk?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
it.
Oh, a lot of conference. Ms. Porter?
Actually, Ms. Crawford's gonna read those.
Oh, Ms. Crawford?
Ms. Payne,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Ms. Cox,
Yes.
Mr. Price.
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is appointment of deputy clerk, and it's the recommendation of the board that we appoint Brenda Crawford back to this position. Any discussion? Hearing none, do I have a motion to appoint Brenda Crawford as deputy clerk of the Pulaski County School Board?
I will make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Ms. Porter?
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
All right. Next up is the appointment of the parliamentarian. It's this board's recommendation that we appoint Mr. Rob Graham as parliamentarian. Any discussion about said appointment?
I have a lot of discussion about that.
Is this the errands and grievances?
That is my call.
Hearing no discussion, do I have a motion to appoint Mr. Rob Graham as a parliamentarian of Pulaski County School Board?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Ms. Porter?
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Next up is appointment of the VSBA agent. This is a new position for the Pulaski County School Board, and it's this board's recommendation that we appoint Mr. Rob Graham as the VSBA agent.
Well, let me share with that. So that one, the VSBA agent is a board member who serves as going to the annual convention
Okay.
in Williamsburg each year, and it's an really important position because you have to be there in order to, Pulaski gets one vote on the items that they have that are coming up as far as what the VSBA would like to approve.
Okay.
So that person whoever it is going to be, needs to be there, or if they aren't, then the deputy agent would be there too.
Okay.
Or both of them can go, but we still only have one vote.
Okay. Knowing that information, do I have a nomination for the VSBA agent for the Pulaski County School Board?
Mr. Chairman, I nominate Sabrina Cox to fill that position as VSBA agent.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, could I get a motion to appoint Ms. Sabrina Cox as the VSBA agent for the Pulaski County Public School Board?
So made.
Second?
I'll second.
Ms. Porter?
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Next up is the appointment of the VSBA deputy agent for the Pulaski County Public School Board. I'm going to open that up to nominations.
I'll nominate Gina Payne for that position, BSBA deputy agent.
Any other discussion or nominations? Hearing none, could I get a motion to appoint Ms. Gina Payne to the VSBA deputy agent role for the Pulaski County Public School Board?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I will second that.
Ms. Porter?
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Next up is appointing the representative to the Southwest Virginia Governor's School Board for Pulaski, the representation seat for Pulaski County Public Schools. Going to open the floor up to nomination for that board.
I'll make a motion to nominate Ms. Gina Payne for that position.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Ms. Porter?
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Next up is the appointment of the two members to the School Security Committee. Typically, this has been chair, vice chair, but I think we're going to open that up to discussion and other nominations. Do we have any other nominations for the School Security Committee?
Mr. Chairman, after reading about this position and what it would entail, I would recommend that the positions that normally are filled by the chair and vice chair, that we appoint in those positions Mr. Jacob Price, considering his experience in our school system, his prior SRO, and Mr. Billy Williams, since he has invested substantial time in keeping up with this issue.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, could I get a motion to appoint Mr. Jacob Price and Mr. Billy Williams to the School Security Committee for Pulaski County Public Schools?
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Second.
Ms. Porter?
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
All right, next up, very important, seating order. So the current seating order, left to right, is Gina Payne, Billy Williams, Josh Taylor, Sabrina Cox, Jake Price. Any discussion or objection to that seating order? No? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the seating order?
I'll make that motion.
Second,
I'll second.
Ms. Porter?
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Next up is the voting order, and the voting order will also follow the seating order. So Gina Payne, Billy Williams, Josh Taylor, Sabrina Cox, Jake Price, left to right. Any discussion or comment? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the voting order?
So moved.
Second. Ms. Porter?
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Next up on the agenda is setting the date and time and place for the regular school board meetings. So it's the recommendation of the board that we hold the school board meetings on the second Tuesday of each month at 6 p.m. Notice the change in location. This will be the 202 North Washington School Board Office, and all the regular scheduled meetings are on your agenda. Any discussion about the time, date, and place of the school meeting? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the date, time, and place for the regular scheduled school meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Second.
Ms. Porter?
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Next up is the appointment of the school board attorney. The motion is to retain the firms of Haney, and I'm not going to say it either.
Been a lot of you.
Bill
I learned.
Sands Anderson, and add Timberlake and Smith, and attorneys at law for the school board of Pulaski County Public Schools. Any comment, questions, concern? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the appointment of the school board attorneys?
I'll make the motion that we adopt the aforementioned attorneys.
Second,
Second.
Ms. Porter?
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
And the last appointment is the appointment of superintendent designee. It's the recommendation of the board that we appoint Dr. Taylor Grant, Dr. Sarah Polcha, Morgan Sklar, finance director, and Lincoln Whitaker, IT director, as authorized superintendent designees. Any question, comment, concerns about the folks nominated to be appointed superintendent designees? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the appointed superintendent designees?
I'll make that motion.
Second,
I'll second.
Ms. Porter.
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
I think that takes us to the end of the appointments and reorganization, so I believe that we have a short recess already.
We do have a short recess, and
Yeah.
we have some gifts for you. If you want to first open those up, and then we'll proceed to, are we headed out, Ms. Crawford, into the lobby? All right.
Fantastic. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. We'll meet out in the lobby. Thank you all. Everybody's invited to have some cake too, so come on out.
Snow cake. We gotta keep this stuff snappy, figure out reasons.
So I'd like to thank the school board office staff for a wonderful reception, and Ms. Laura Norris and her program for putting on a great little spread for us. It's always a treat. Next up on the agenda is enter closed session. The Pulaski County School Board will have a closed session pursuant to section 2.2-3711, A7 and A29, consultation of the legal counsel and discussion of the award of public contract. Do I have a motion to enter closed session?
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Second.
Ms. Porter?
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Sorry to keep you guys waiting. So, the board will certify that the closed session was conducted in accordance to the Code of Virginia as amended 2.2-3712. Do I have a motion to certify closed session?
I'll make that motion. I'll make that motion.
Second,
I'll second.
Ms. Porter.
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
And next up on the agenda is recognitions.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to ask Hunter Tolley and Alicia Justice and Gracie Wimberly to come down to the front here with Dr. Colcha and Dr. Grant. These are our Citizens of the Month, Pulaski County Middle School. We'll start with, I guess, is Hunter not here? We'll go ahead for it, because this is wonderful recognition and certainly well-deserved. Hunter Tolley exemplifies the qualities of an amazing young man and student here at Pulaski County Middle School. He is respectful. He is polite to his teachers and friendly to his peers. He is responsible. He always completes his work and is very organized. He is positive. He comes into class every day ready to meet challenges with a smile. Ms. Winnett shared that he will often stop and take time to ask me how she is doing or to tell her to have a good day. He is engaged, participates in class, asks questions, and always gives 110%. He truly cares about doing well. Congratulations to Hunter. Ms. Justice, the 8th grade Steelers team chose Alicia Justice as their student representative. Her 8th grade team describes Alicia as a hard-working, dedicated student who gives her best. She is an AB honor student who excels in all of her classes. She is kind and considerate to her peers and teachers. Not only does she excel in the classroom, but in her extracurricular classes as well. This school year, she is lead role in Dorothy in the play, The Wizard of Oz. Ms. Sink, her drama teacher, describes her as bright and dedicated student who is always willing to help others. She is a great role model and leads with compassion. Congratulations. Ms. Wimberly. Graciana Wimberly is a pleasure to work with. She's honest, dependable, organized, and respectful. A true team player who goes out of her way to help classmates any way she can. Fun fact, she colors codes everything. Congratulations to Grace. You guys will go ahead and head on down there. Or, you can just stay down there with our recognitions when we have them. Get a picture. Yes, that'd be great to have parents. Parents, please come on if you're here.
Okay, here. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. One, two, three. Okay.
Second. Ready?
Let's give them our employee of the month. Pulaski County Public Schools and Pulaski County Middle School are proud to recognize Ms. Karen Brown as employee of the month. Ms. Brown has served Pulaski County Public Schools for 32 years. She has served in 3 different roles over the years. She began as a computer lab aide for the alternative school. Then she became the fiscal clerk at the school board office in 1992. She served in that position until 2003 when she became the bookkeeper for Pulaski Middle. She now serves as the bookkeeper at Pulaski County Middle School. When the 2 middle schools combined, she took on the work of 2 bookkeepers and has done an excellent job. This past year, Pulaski County Middle School had a perfect audit thanks to her meticulous work. When asked what she finds most rewarding about her job, she shared that she enjoys learning the why and teachers' supply request list, and then seeing students engage, learning, and enjoying what that teacher envisioned using those supplies. She also finds it most rewarding when the books reconcile and everything matches. Outside of school, she enjoys spending time with family, friends, reading, and watching movies. Congratulations, Mrs. Brown.
Very good.
Yeah, yeah.
So tall. All right, very nice.
He does this to everybody.
1, 2.
And our teacher of the month. Pulaski County Public Schools and Pulaski County Middle School are proud to announce Charles Shelton as Teacher of the Month. Mr. Shelton has been a teacher with Pulaski County for 27 years at the middle school level. He has taught science, civics, math 8, and algebra over the years. He currently teaches math 8 and algebra 1 at Pulaski County Middle School. A fellow teacher shared that Mr. Shelton goes above and beyond in the efforts to help students. She noted that he goes to night school program to offer math tutoring to students without being asked. He also stays after school to help students with math whenever needed. Mr. Shelton is married to Tracy and they have a son named Micah. He enjoys most spending time with his family and working out. The most rewarding part of being a teacher to him is spending quality time with students and people in general. Mr. Shelton also shares my vision of loving UVA.
Very nice.
Me?
Yes. Yes, perfect. Thank you. Okay. 1, 2.
And our senior of the month for December. Pulaski County Public Schools and Pulaski County High School are pleased to announce Cameron as our senior of the month for January 2024. Cameron is the son of Kenneth and Amy Carden of Dublin. One of Cameron's nominating teachers stated that Cameron is incredibly thoughtful, hardworking, and dedicated student. He is helpful towards everyone and is extremely respectful. Cameron is an amazing student and human being in general. Another nominator commented on Cameron being a key part of bringing the Fellowship of Christian Athletes Club back to Pulaski County High School. He served as junior leader last school year and is currently serving as senior leader. Cameron is reliable and ambitious about planning club events and outreach. Our Pulaski County High School FCA had a speaker request for the 2023 Fall Fields of Faith, and he volunteered to take the task and spoke to over 100 students and community members. Cameron spoke about his faith and love that is presented between Pulaski County High School faculty and students. Cameron makes it a mission to be a light of other students and staff at Pulaski County High School and brings a smile and encouragement each day. And if you haven't seen him at Kroger's, he's there almost all the time, working and doing a very good job. So congratulations. was unable to be here last time, so we are going to recognize her. For November, our Senior of the Month, Pulaski County Public Schools and Pulaski County High School, pleased to announce our November Senior of the Month, Sydney Proctor. Sydney is the daughter of Autumn Duncan and Scott Proctor of Pulaski. Sydney's nominating teacher said Sydney has shown consistently strong leadership and work ethic throughout the year's performance season. From the moment she was named captain of the color guard, Sydney has gone above and beyond the call of duty to choreograph routines and to offer help to any other students who needed assistance. While doing all of this, Sydney has a positive attitude and continues to strive for excellence, not only in her extracurricular activities, but also in her academics. Sydney is an excellent role model for the underclassmen, and brings energy, positivity, and attention to detail to everything that she does. I have no doubt that she will continue to shine in college and beyond. Upon graduating, Sydney hopes to attend a 4-year college pursuing a career in healthcare administration or radiology. Sydney has recently discovered her love of band, particularly percussion, tapping out rhythms everywhere she goes. In her free time, Sydney enjoys reading and spending time with her family and friends. Congratulations, Sydney.
Next up is the recognition of citizens. This first public comment section will be for persons who wish to address the board regarding items on the current school board agenda. Items presented by the citizens may be referred to the superintendent for research, who may report back to the school board at a subsequent meeting or through other communication. If you wish to comment about individual employees or their performance, please present your comments first to the superintendent. Such matters will not be discussed in an open forum. Please limit all comments to 3 minutes. The public comment period will be limited to 30 minutes. Anyone who's not able to speak, there will be another public comment at the end of the meeting. Do we have anyone that wants to speak about tonight's agenda? Seeing none, we'll close the public comment section and move on to the approval of the minutes. The board members were able to review the minutes before the meeting. Could I get a motion to adopt the December 11th regular meeting minutes?
I'll make a motion to adopt those meetings from the December 11th regular meeting.
Second?
Second.
Ms. Porter?
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Next up on the agenda is the adoption of tonight's agenda. Could I get a motion to adopt the January 18th, 2024 school board meeting agenda?
I'll make that motion to approve tonight's meeting agenda.
Second?
I will second that.
Ms. Porter?
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Next up is the consent agenda. Before the meeting, the board was able to review the payment of bills and the personnel agenda. Do we have any questions, comments, concerns about either of those items? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make the motion to approve tonight's consent agenda.
Second?
I'll second.
Ms. Porter?
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
I'd like to welcome all the people we just hired to Pulaski County Public Schools, and Mr. Richie Thomas. is coming back to us, so that's a welcome addition as HR Director.
It's my understanding Mr. Thomas will start tomorrow.
Yes, and unless there's a snow day.
Somebody's praying for us today.
Next up on the agenda is the instructional focus. Dr. Tara Grant. There we go.
Welcome to Pulaski County School Board. All right. So I'm going to talk a little bit about curriculum instruction and kind of the state of things right now, just so you kind of know where we're starting as you're coming on the board and what we're doing to move forward. And then when I'm done, I would like Tanya Singleton to come up and give you a little information on the Virginia Literacy Act, because that's a very hot topic right now. So we're going to do an instructional focus for you guys every month. We planned it out through the spring, and hopefully it's really to inform you and inform the community, and as you have questions, please ask us, okay? So put together a school improvement plan, and when we do that, we tell a little bit about who we are in Pulaski. Looking at the mission statement there, Pulaski County Public Schools, with its commitment to excellence and equity, will educate all students to be productive, responsible citizens and lifelong learners in a rapidly changing global society. All students must achieve at their highest levels. Every child will excel. Learning occurs best in an atmosphere of mutual respect. Schools must provide a supportive and safe environment for students to learn. We recruit, hire, and retain the best staff. Mr. Thomas, are you listening?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We hold our teachers to the highest professional standards. Parents can make the biggest difference in students' learning. Families are critical to the success of students in school. And then I'm going to go ahead and read the racial and social equity statement that we have for the county. Pulaski County Public Schools acknowledges that systematic and institutional inequities, especially in matters of race, remain significant barriers for people and communities working to reach their full potential. We are committed to the principles of equity by requiring non-biased, fair, and non-discriminatory actions, decisions, and treatment of all people who interact with the school system. Our schools will provide an environment that respects every individual, regardless of race, gender, intellectual and physical abilities, sexual orientation, religion, socioeconomical status, physical appearance, gender expression, family configuration, ethnicity, age, and the language spoken in their homes. So we are creating school and division committees called Every Cougar Counts to make sure our school community stakeholders feel valued, so that there'll be more coming in the future for that. So moving on to accreditation information. This information, most information in this presentation comes from the Virginia Department of Education School Quality Profile for Pulaski County Public Schools. So that this is public information, but I just wanted to highlight some things for you. So we have 7 schools, 6 are accredited. All the schools are accredited. Pulaski County Middle is accredited with conditions, okay? And that's been a big focus of ours this year. And as you move down, and you guys have this information, in the blue there, English, reading together, and I put the grades that those SOLs are tested in, so grades 3 through 8, and then end of course in high school. If you look there, it says all students in 2023, we had a 65% pass rate, and 75% is passing, okay, for English. So I'm actually just going to highlight all the subjects first, if that's okay, Mr. Graham. Writing, I included separately, even though it is included in the English and reading score. It's tested in 8th grade and then end of course. We had a 53%, and again, the 75 is passing there. In math, we have math tested grades 3 through 8, and then end of course math, which is in high school, of course. Out of all the students, we had 60% pass rate. 70% is passing for math. And then we go down to science. It's tested 3 times, grades 5, 8, and into course. This past year, 57% pass rate, 70% is passing. Go down to history, social science, it's tested in 4th grade, 8th grade, end of course. 60% pass rate for us, and 70 is passing. So I'm pointing that out because even though we're 95th out of 131 school divisions, which is very uncomfortable for us, and when I say us, I mean, I'm talking about the educational leaders. It's very uncomfortable for us. We all work very, very hard. So do our teachers. So I want to let you know that you should feel some encouragement because we are very focused on what we need to do. Some of the interventions that we have, I've listed. Benchmarks were not mandated before this year. Okay, that's a problematic because that prepares you for SOL testing, right? We are on board. The district is on board. The teachers are on board. The principals are amazing, okay? So we are focused with, you're pulling out the Virginia Department of Education curriculum framework and the CIP to plan and align curriculum when you plan each week. Now the CIP, Comprehensive Instructional Program, is run by Executive Director Matt Hurt, who works with us all the time. I've called him 3 times in 2 days asking about data on benchmark testing. So the CIP has aligned curriculum tied to the curriculum framework of the DOE, and so it helps us with our pacing guides. You know, what do we teach when before our quarterly assessments, and then we take the CIP benchmarks every quarter through Mastery Connect, which is a new program platform that our teachers had and principals had to learn this year. They've been through PD for that. Our ITRTs helped with that. So we're working with that. The teachers made dashboard, had a data dashboard tracker created in Mastery Connect that ties every question to each SOL, so they are current on their data and what they've mastered and what they're still weak on. So teachers go back and create remediation plans from that data. We're looking at data. We're looking at data. All teachers in the district had the same SMART goal. Our kids will pass everything, okay? That's what it said. We got to do it, and it's a group effort. So 75% of students will pass reading and English, depending on what grade level is what you call it. 70% of students will pass math, science, and history, social studies. So even teachers that don't teach us core subjects, they are very important to the success of students because they create relationships with kids. So we want kids to learn about math facts and PE, right? So we're making some cross-curricular lesson plans. Our teachers are doing a really great job with that. But again, students have to get here. They have to feel like they're an important part of our school committee, our school community, and teachers, principals, bus drivers, they contribute to that. Let's get them here and let's teach them the right thing and remediate when we need to. So there's some other things I listed too with all-in tutoring. You've heard a lot about that. We've had stride tutoring, we've had learning loss teaching assistants. Before school tutoring started in January. We have remediation going on during extension time and exploratory at the middle school. We brought in a speaker for the middle school. Her name is Kathleen Beachboard. She wrote the book, The School of Hope. It's talking about the science of hope. How before kids can dig into what they need to learn, they need to feel like they have hope to succeed, okay? So there's a lot going on, and so it sounds like, oh my gosh, we didn't pass anything. So I just want you to be encouraged that we're on it. We're gonna move forward, and we're gonna be top 20 in the state before too long. Just hold me to it, I promise. If we can move down to the CIP, thank you, Mr. Graham. So again, this data that you see here is from the CIP. Matt Hurt put this together for me. So we're looking at the district as a whole. It's really hard to compare benchmarks to SOL tests, okay? But he kind of did that for us as far as percentile rank. You see that PR there, benchmarks percentile rank, and then the SOL percentile rank, and the percentile rank difference. So percentile rank is when you're comparing our district to other districts in the CIP. There's 61 districts in the CIP. It's pretty reliable data, and we've used it for years. We used it in Radford as well, and we have a lot of room to grow there. So from our first benchmark, first quarter to second quarter, we've seen a lot of improvement. So kudos to teachers and principals. Can we get a round of applause for teachers and principals? And students. So I want you to know that in 2024, we're in the yellow, we want to be in the green, okay? Always green. Always wear green on testing day because we've been in the red, okay? Moving forward, Mr. Graham, if you could move that up there a little bit. All right. So in looking at, and that was in that last information you just saw there. So it's looking like, even though it looks like we have 2024 benchmark pass rates in the 40s, when you compare it to the other districts, it's showing that we are in yellow compared to them. And I know it's crazy, but if you look at the third quarter percentile rankings, when we get there, it really predicts how we'll do on our SOLs. It's very valuable information. So I wanted to give you guys a glance at that. I'll be glad to look at it later with you. I know we have a lot to do. But I do want to show you the school quality profile for each school because it looks at the overall academic achievement for English, math, and science, and then the achievement gaps, and then they look at attendance. Is there any way you can blow that up a little bit, Mr. Graham? So for Kreiser, green is what you want to see. It's a level 1 when you look at school quality profile. And again, this is public information on the DOE. Yellow is when we're looking at, we've got some discrepancies and achievement gaps. And if you move to that next information, you'll see it's yellow in students with disabilities for math. So that's what Kreiser's really focusing on, okay? And you'll hear more about special education next month from Dr. Polcha. If you go ahead and move forward, Dublin Elementary School is accredited at all things. They are level 3 with students with disabilities in math and reading, and with English and math, so that's what they're working on. Pulaski Elementary School. Pulaski Elementary School, overall accredited in everything. They are having level 2 and level 3 for students with disabilities in those subjects. They're focusing on that. Moving on, if you look there, science is an issue there for level 2 and chronic absenteeism, which you'll kind of see across the board. That's still coming from COVID, okay? And Mary Shuggleton will talk to you about that at a later date. But if you look, their achievement gaps in English and math are all level 1 for Riverlawn. Snowville, English reading and math, English, math, and science, level 1. Achievement gaps, level 1. They're worried about their chronic absenteeism. Moving on to the middle school, and that's where we spent a lot of time this year. They're accredited with conditions. You can see the red and the yellow there. So that's where we've been focusing. We've been doing lots and lots of things, Miss Smith, and we have been working on that. So you can tell math is level 1, but if you look at the achievement gap, Black students, economically disadvantaged, and students with disabilities are level 3, okay? So right here we got a tier 1 problem. That means all kids, mostly. So you can see there that we are really concentrating on pretty much tier 1, which is all kids. We have stride tutoring going to happen through for the next 8 to 12 weeks here at the middle school. We did stride tutoring online at the elementary school through December. We're not going to do that anymore at elementary. They're going to go ahead and keep with their tutors and their homeroom teachers looking at data. But the middle school is where we're putting more tutors and more time. And if you keep going to the high school, English and math level 1. English, the achievement gaps look great for English. We're looking at students with disabilities for math and then chronic absenteeism, which makes sense for high school. That's a battle that we always face. As Tanya comes on up here, and she has a Virginia Literacy Act flyer in your folder. Does anyone have any immediate questions about all the information I just threw at you? There's a lot to that.
You had mentioned we'll be stepping back from doing the virtual tutoring, which we've been using, which I understand has been very helpful. They'll keep it. Yep. And will we be getting into interpersonal tutoring?
So we have hired, thank you, we've hired learning loss tutors, 1 for each elementary school and 2 for the middle school. So they are working with classroom teachers, looking at that data in Mastery Connect for remediation groups and tracking that data there.
Okay, and this will be able to take place during regular school hours?
All this is during school. I will tell you that we do have opportunities for teachers to do before school tutoring, and that just kind of happened in January. We're still getting that together a half an hour before their contract starts. So if kids have come off the bus and they're sitting in that cafeteria for 45 minutes, hey, come here, let's work on what we missed yesterday. So they're getting paid for that.
Okay, so we're getting that in place, to be able to really come at these kids
So it is during the day.
right during the day.
Yes.
How many before and after school tutors are we using currently? Or do you?
Not after school. We found that that's really, we don't get the bang for the buck in after school. They're tired. So after school, well, there's still, teachers are still applying for it, but I would say a handful for each school. I'd say 3 to 5 for each school.
Great.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Dr. Grant? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There was a lot of
Thanks, Dr.
information.
Grant.
Thank you.
Mine will be a little more concise. In your folder, you do have a one-page outline that describes the elements of the Virginia Literacy Act. This initiative comes to us from the VDOE in an effort to address and reverse the current literacy trends that our schools, our division, and our state are currently facing. This initial focus is for K-3 students, but they will be extending this on to grades 4 through 8. Currently, our division's data suggests that we have 25% of our students in K through 3 who are at high risk for not meeting those benchmarks. We get a lot of that data from our fall, mid-year, and spring PALS data, which next year, when all of this goes into implementation, we'll be transferring over to VALS. So there's more information to come on that. The document captures the requirements of our school division, our teachers, our administrators, and the expectations that our families will participate in all the initiatives and what we expect our students to achieve. Full implementation of the VLA should take place as we go into the next school year. We've been working on this initiative for the past 2 years. Right now, there are 4 major components of the VLA. Again, parent involvement, our core curriculum, which is our Houghton, Mifflin, Harcourt, and our interventions. Ongoing PD is a huge focus of the VLA, and making sure that our teachers are trained in evidence-based literacy instructional practices. And as our teachers are coming into us, that they're trained through college programs in evidence-based literacy instruction as well. So on January 8th, we had a PD at every elementary school. Our reading specialists put that on, and we went over all the up-to-date current information for VLA, and the information just comes at us. I would say week by week we get new pieces, and there's supposed to be a playbook that is coming out from the VDOE this month or next that will guide us in our next steps. So, do you all have any questions from the document you have? There is so much information I could share. I welcome any of you to come and sit down with me. There are tons of documents on the VDOE website. Any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Singleton?
I just had one. I mean, looking through all this, and I understand the absolute imperative and importance of getting families involved with this. Indicated here that access to free online evidence-based literacy resources, be made available to parents, and I have a little bit of concern with that, and that some families, their access may just be via one phone, that they get Wi-Fi. Is there any way for us to get these resources available to families in hard copies?
Oh, absolutely. Our reading specialists are currently taking courses through Canvas. We have 6 people enrolled in those. And so there, if you go on VDOE's website, there are lots of online resources, but then we've had lots of conversation about make and take workshops, things that we can put in their hands so that they can use that at home.
Very good.
Good.
Okay.
Any
Thank
questions?
you.
Thank you, Ms. Singleton. That brings us to the informational items, and first up is the student representative update. Mr. Jeremiah Turner. Sorry for keeping you out so late on a school night.
Hopefully you'll have one. So last month we had a student advisory meeting with Mr. Graham and Ms. Bowling about what our school is going through. And the biggest topic of that was our SL pass rating, which, as Dr. Grant mentioned, they're very low. So I came up with 3 ideas that could possibly help our students pass as well as. So the first one is mental health days, and I get that like parents always call out for their students have mental health days. But these shouldn't count as absence, and each students will have 2 to 3 mental health days per semester, so they can't abuse it. And they have to fill out a form that our counselors will look at, and they will either accept it or deny it. And they can't use more than one the same week or the following week because, well, that's abusing it, and then like who wants to use all theirs up in 1 week? And another thing is that there should be only 50 students per week, so like 10 a day. So like we don't have like over half the school missing because everyone's on a mental health day. And the second one is student tutoring. Because I think us students who go through the same SLs that like the 9th or 10th graders go through, we can help tutor them so like they get a different perspective than a teacher in themselves. And students who like me, I'm in NHS, so it could be used for NHS hours. And I kind of think it's like, it could be 2 hours after school, but Dr. Grant's talking about it should be in school. But we'll do a little activity so they can learn more than like an educational environment, so they can build a positive environment in the school setting. And then the next hour will be strictly on tutoring because they gotta learn. And I would like to adopt a leadership program. My friend Chase was talking to me about it because their football team did it. And like the upperclassmen, they only do seniors. So the seniors adopt 11th, 10th, and 9th graders. And they make sure they're getting to practice on time and they're doing well in school. So I like to adopt one for our school and make sure like 11th and 12th graders can adopt 9th and 10th graders, make sure they're doing well in classes, make sure they're getting good grades and they're not skipping anything. So that's just for the high school, but even though I'm just for the high school, like I want to go above and beyond. So I want to get to the middle school and elementary schools and make sure they're all recognized. So I spoke to Tony Byers, which is the, I guess, head of all elementary schools, and we're planning to meet at the end of this month, every other month, to get with the elementary schools student representatives. And here's just what he has a list for me. Pulaski Elementary, they enjoyed their Lexia Glow Party, and students would like hot chocolate served during the snow days with sleigh riding, which is reasonable, because who wouldn't? Kaiser Elementary, they enjoyed their awards for behavior and attendance, and they loved the new book machine, but they weren't able to use the track and PE because they needs new gravel. Riverline Elementary School, they have enjoyed the new archery unit in PE, which is very cool, which high school had one. Their student leadership team is planning on a fundraiser to build a new pre-K playground, which I think is really cool. Dublin Elementary School, their students returned from winter break and happy to be back in school. They heard a lot of I missed you in the building. Their students would like both playgrounds repaired. The swing on the new addition playground is broken, and the front playground has a hole in the plastic that needs repaired. Maintenance is working on the new addition to the playground, however, the front playground hasn't been fixed yet. In my elementary school, Snowville, they've enjoyed their ice cream party for perfect attendance. I missed that. Their accelerated reading parties have been fun and cool science experiments to do with their teachers. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Jeremiah, I would say I love the idea about mentorship. I think that's something we greatly need, and that's something I think we should roll with, even at all levels. And thank you for going above and beyond and doing an update for all our schools. I think we need to celebrate not just the high school, but all our other 6 schools as well. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
I'll second that. I think mentorship is really important. And I would task you, maybe for next time, to think about how we could attack chronic absenteeism among students, not just passing rates for SOL, but maybe think about what we could implement student level wise on getting our students to school, how we could tackle that too. But you're on the right track. You're doing a fabulous job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up on the informational item agenda is Mr. Shul with the capital improvement update.
Hey, Jeremiah, can you email me that, what you just said?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Sounds like there's some things at the elementary schools.
Sounds like there's some playgrounds broken. I don't know. We will certainly put that on our board tomorrow and see what's going on. We're not pushing snow. Oh. All right, Mr. Chair, members of the board, Mr. Graham, good evening. When they first asked me, he asked me to do a capital improvement plan, the top 10 update. At some point, the top 10 turned into the priority list instead of the top 10. They're numbered for ease of pointing out which projects which. But I was kind of at a loss of how to present it without, to a brand new board, without the board knowing the history of the capital improvement plan and the capital plan as a whole. So my first recommendation, I'll go through this with you guys tonight, but my first recommendation is we do a work session with the entire board where the work session is dedicated solely to the capital plan. The capital plan is, and I can go through how the capital plan is funded. We can talk about the cash balance of the capital fund. We can talk about the overarching capital fund, which is much larger than what you see in front of you here. It's about a $16 million document. And just because, I will also say that just because a project's on this capital priority list or the larger capital list, doesn't mean it's, a project we have to do. Typically, the board sets the priorities for the capital plan, that kind of thing. So I think we probably need a work session dedicated solely to the capital plan since it's such a complex issue. I don't think it's something I could fairly explain, a board presentation. So I think that's probably something we need to do in the next few months. Usually we had a work session and we would work through all of the capital projects in the spring, January, February, March, sometime after February usually. So anytime you guys want to set that up, I would love to go through the capital.
Very beneficial for us to have a work session on the capital.
Yeah, just to give you guys a history of it, give you guys an idea of what, where we draw these projects from. They don't just, come out of thin air. But I'll kind of go through this with you. This one was basically what was in place in March of last year. So I really wasn't sure how to address a priority plan other than that. So I'll just go through them. 1A is complete. 1A, 1B, 2, and 3 are all complete. 7 and 8 are complete. And there's a bunch of complete capital projects that aren't shown on the priority list that we did out of ESSER funding. And ESSER had some guidelines with it as how you could spend it. So we had to pick projects that fit the ESSER guidelines so we could use the money for those projects. And then I'll explain a little bit too, like number 6, if you guys will look at number 6. Number 6 is a project that was not on any capital list at the beginning of this school year. It's on there because when we opened school this year, we found 3 breaks in the sewer line under the concrete slab in Riverlawn's kitchen, okay? So that's something that capital fund is also there for emergency repair. The capital fund is usually what we draw on for emergency repair for large dollar items. So number 6 shot up to the priority list because right now we have 2 bathrooms shut down at Riverlawn for the school year. And the reason that is we can't fix it now is because we're going to have to pull the kitchen equipment out. We're going to have to bring in somebody, cut the slab off, dig up the kitchen floor, repair it, and put the kitchen equipment back. And we can't shut down the kitchen during school year. So that's one of the other things that a capital list is there for. It's not only there for the priority of projects that we want to get done or we want to see done, it's also there to help us in the event of an emergency repair. That's why also I've always told the boards in the past that I don't ever want to draw the capital fund, well, I shouldn't say it like that. I would recommend we don't ever draw the capital fund below about 800 grand. We always should have a balance, a cash balance of 800,000, just in the event we have a catastrophic failure. For example, the chiller at PCHS is 26 years old, and it would cost $800,000 to replace it. So that's why I used the number $800,000. If we lost the chiller at the main building at PCHS, we would immediately need $800,000 to put air conditioning back in that building. So my recommendation has always been to the boards, don't ever draw your cash balance down below about 800 grand. So, and just for reference, our cash balance right now is about 4.5 million. But I can explain a little more of that in a more detailed meeting. The door project, number 5 at PCHS, it's almost complete. It was funded, $1.62 million was funded out of ESSER, so it didn't come out of our capital coffers. But we are going to have to draw. We ended up having to, it was really hard to do ESSER projects because you didn't want to lose any ESSER money and you didn't want to leave any ESSER money on the table. But you couldn't overspend ESSER money, so you tried to pinpoint the project and tried to pinpoint a price. But we're going to need to draw about between $250,000 and $320,000 change order on the door project at PCHS to finish it. And since we used all of the ESSER money, because we didn't want to leave any on the table, we're going to have to draw that out of the capital fund. So that's something we have to keep in mind when we're moving forward with that one. And just because there is a project on this priority list, again, it doesn't mean it's a project. The only other project on here that we have to do, other than the river lawns, broken sewer lines, I mean, we just have to do that. We don't have a choice. Is the number 4, replace the water supply plumbing in the old section at Dublin Elementary School. So I think that's something that if we don't do, I'm hoping to do it in the summer of 2025. That would be my recommendation. If we don't do that, we're going to be in trouble. I mean, we're going to get to a point where we're going to have to replace it under the gun. And I would hate to replace it under the gun. So that's one of those other ones that you get on the capital list that it's one of those things where, man, you just got to do it. So, and to give you another example, this list was largely unchanged for years, okay? And it took us the projects you see complete on this list, it took us 7 years to do them, okay? So just because it's on this list doesn't mean we're going to do it this year or next month or something like that. We try to project them out. The ESSER money greatly helped us. It gave us the flexibility to complete some large-scale projects that needed done without emptying our capital fund. So I put a recommendation on it. Again, it's just a recommendation. You know, my recommendation as of right now for the capital fund is to add the necessary sewer repairs at Riverlawn's kitchen area and complete the vestibule project. And if you look down at the very bottom, it's not numbered, it says security needs. And I don't know if you've seen the vestibule project. I sent it to...
We have.
So you shared it? Okay. So that is it's part of the security committee. That was part of the audits that the state police did in the schools, security audits, year and a half, maybe-ish ago. That was one of the write-ups at all the elementary schools, so we developed this project to try to address it. And we're carrying $2 million for it. It bid today. It went on the street today. I don't know what it's going to cost. You know, two and a half years ago, I could stand up here and I could feel comfortable giving you a cost within 20%. You know, of a large project, you know, $1 million project. But right now, until we get hard numbers, I think it's going to be less than $2 million, but we'll just wait and see. In this market, it's very hard to tell what things are going to cost. It's just, you know, it's hard to say. So, so my recommendation is add the necessary sewer repairs at Riverlawn's kitchen, complete the vestibule project, and this summer, do those in 2024. And then reassess the capital list as a whole this spring with the board's input. The board, Mr. Graham, and everybody's input, and then we build a new priority list for this board and this staff to move forward with. If that's amenable to everyone.
I think that sounds great.
Yeah, I'd be glad to try and answer any questions. Again, the capital thing is just, it's complex. You know, I think it needs more time than just a brief presentation by me in a board meeting. I think it needs a dedicated work session.
So it is the desire to have the vestibules done this year?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So the bid price that comes back, do they say that it's good for so long based on cost of materials for a certain length of time? How do they do that?
Well, usually the way the bid process works, we're pursuing two options. Okay, we're pursuing a state contract option for Pulaski Elementary School, Riverlawn Elementary School, and Dublin Elementary School. And the reason we're pursuing a state contract option with those is they're relatively simple. Okay, there's not a whole lot of punching holes in walls. There's not a whole lot of changing electricity. We're not adding a whole lot to those schools. So we think we can get those done under the state contract option. The problem with the state contract option is it has a cap. Okay, you're only allowed to spend so much money with that option. So Snowville being and Chrysler being as involved as they are, they're going to cost more. And we were afraid if we tried to pursue the state contract option that we would be over the cap, then we would have to drop back and start over. And given the lead time of storefront material right now, storefront materials basically, what we call storefront materials, basically what these front doors are when you came into Pulaski County Middle School, glass doors with aluminum storefront. With the lead time of storefront material, we were concerned we wouldn't be able to get the material in time to start as soon as we get out in May this year. So we bid, we're pursuing 100, and it's already been sent to the state contract people. They're working on giving us a price. And then we bid Snowville and Chrysler today. And the way that works is we get into a contract with them, and we put a deadline in the contract. Okay, they have to be done by August 2nd, I believe it is, of 2024. So they have to be done before we start school next year. And if they give us a price, and then they sign the contract, and we sign the contract, then they're beholden to that deadline, or there's what we call liquidated damages. And we start charging them damages, you know. It's not a lot, but, and typically, you always want to avoid damages. You want to work with the contractor to try to complete the project. And there are times when it's just late for, you know,
Of course.
out of anyone's control. And we'll get into what's called an AIA contract with that. It's typically the way contracts are written, and our architect, y'all saw Thompson and Litton was our architect on that particular job. They'll prepare the contract documents. It's usually signed by Rob, because I don't have enough mojo to sign a contract. So,
Yeah, you do, Jess.
Sound like you do to me.
yeah. So anyway, that's kind of where the priority list is. And like I said, I struggled with how to even present it to you guys, just because you don't know the history of it, and it just wouldn't be fair to just show you this and not give you the whole background. You know, I want you to know it all from, you know, how it's bonded and everything else.
Well, we will look forward to the work session.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Thank you, Shirley.
You're welcome.
If you guys will email, I know you're really busy the rest of the month, but if you'll email me sometimes in February, we'll set that up, that you're available.
Fantastic. Next up on the information item is the risk behavior survey.
I'll introduce these folks as they come up. This is Mike Wade and Mandy Ackman, and they are here to talk about the youth risk behavior survey that you're most of you are familiar with. So, okay, thank you. I'll send it out to them.
Thank you, Mr. Graham. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Congratulations on your newly elected positions here in Pulaski County. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. We're going to keep this as brief as we can. We've had a long evening so far, so we want to try to make it as short and sweet as possible. As Mr. Graham noted, I work for New River Valley Community Services. I'm here in some other capacities. I also am actively involved with the Pulaski County Commission on Children and Families, and also am actively involved with the Pulaski Community Partners Coalition, the community prevention coalition that serves the community that's been around for a couple of decades now at this point. So we're here tonight to respectfully request that you give consideration to administration of the Youth Risk Behavior Survey. The Youth Risk Behavior Survey is a national instrument used to collect data from students that specifically focuses on risk behaviors that pertain to primarily mental health and substance use and the associated risks that come with those behaviors and that conduct. As we think about the importance of those issues as it relates to schools, it certainly has an impact on academic performance, attendance, some of the issues that we've already talked about tonight and heard about. You know, if you pay attention at all to the news, you know that over the last few years, things anecdotally appear to have gotten way worse in a lot of these areas. We hear more these days about overdose, the prevalence of opioids, increased issues around self-harm, suicide. Our young people are struggling mightily, not just here in Pulaski County, but across the country. So this survey instrument gives us an opportunity to go beyond the anecdotal things that we all know and understand, but to have some hard data, collecting input from the students themselves, the 7th, 9th, and 11th grade level, to get direct input from them about these issues, what affects them, what they're concerned about, and how that obviously impacts their overall well-being. It serves as a baseline for us in programming, being able to apply for grants, working in partnership with the school system, and you know, you can only get so far on anecdotal data. The hard data, the numbers that we're able to collect through this survey instrument are incredibly helpful in that process. So Mandy's going to talk a little bit more about the specifics around the YRBS, and then we'll answer any questions that you have.
Hello, my name is Mandy Ackerman. I'm the Director of Research and Data Analytics with United Way Southwest Virginia. That's up a little bit. It turns out I don't even need to be here. Mike gave a great rundown of what we're doing. So this is part of a larger initiative. If you're unfamiliar, we cover from all the way down in the county, over to Washington County, and up here in the New River Valley. The goal of this was inspired by the fact that we do not have current post-COVID data on youth mental health trends in our region. When the Youth Risk Behavior Survey was last done, which was actually in this past fall, only 3 schools in Southwest Virginia were selected and about 6 classrooms voted, and that is our data. So we don't have current data about, in-depth data. It was also about 30 questions. So the goal of this is really to be able to understand what is happening, as well as highlight the strengths of our region. When this initiative first kicked off, there was concern in communities that we didn't want to hear, again, everything that's wrong in districts in Southwest Virginia. That is not what we're here to do. We want to make sure we're also able to highlight what is working and all of the resilience and strength-based programming that has been going on since COVID. We want to have data for that too. So, the Youth Risk Behavior Survey is a tool. Mike kind of talked about this. It is developed by the CDC. They're validated questions. In its original form, it's quite lengthy. It's about 120 questions. We wanted to make sure that if we're asking for instructional time, the questions are relevant. So we've worked with the community service boards in the region to make sure that what we're asking relates to the programming that is happening and what is going to best serve you all. I want to be really clear that this is your data. You are getting it back. The short and sweet pitch is that if you give me 15 minutes of time, I'll analyze it and put it in a nice report, and you can get funding and resources for it. We've also built in resilience-based questions and expanded the mental health section. The original survey really just focuses on suicide risk. We know mental health is way more than that. And we also want to make sure that we have data on the protective factors that are happening in communities that we can continue to invest in. It takes about 15 minutes to complete. Our goal is to, of course, get every district in Southwest Virginia to do this. As of today, we have 8 districts that have already signed on. And of course, this is not forced. If you agree to do it, parents have consent. In your document, you have a consent form. This was approved, as well as a survey, by the Emory and Henry College Ethics Board. We're surveying minors. We want to make sure we have all of our bases covered. And yeah, it'll be administered, sorry, I lost my kid. It'll be administered through SurveyMonkey and Qualtrics. If for any reason we need paper copies, we can do that. And then logistically, if you choose to proceed with this, you'll get a data sharing agreement. Mr. Graham will sign it, and it just outlines who is responsible for what, with the goal of getting you your data back by August before the school year starts.
Any questions?
I have one. Based on what we've seen, it appears this survey is going to target our middle school only, and is that right?
This one is for 7th, 9th, and 11th graders.
Okay.
Will that be a random sampling of our 7th, 9th, and 11th graders, or how you guys are going to determine?
So, Mike, so each of the CSBs are responsible for working with the schools to identify who is going to do it when. The time window we're hoping for is between mid-February to the end of March.
And how many are you looking to take the survey?
As many as we can.
And that'll depend on parent consent, I guess, too.
Yes.
So you said it would be 7, 9, and 11 grades? Okay, so the notice would go, I know based on our division policy, I mean, state law will require to give no less than 30 days notice.
Yes.
Would be able to do that and
Yes,
circulate.
so you can, the questions are there, you're able to share it. All of the divisions are also doing it, sharing with their families, letting them know what's happening, why it's happening, whatever way works best for your community. And then that they also have the consent form to sign and return.
How confident are you that our students understand the question that's being asked in order to answer appropriately?
Yeah, so at the beginning of the survey, there's like a little overview that introduces them to what they're taking, that they're able to skip questions, that there's no penalty, it's completely anonymous. I also want to make that clear. And again, we're working with the community service boards and the identified teachers to make sure that they have everything they need to address those questions as it's happening.
With these type of surveys, I mean, do you generate what would be called an error rate? I know reading through some of these and I was thinking, being administered to middle schoolers, how honest are they with you? I mean, some may say, no, I don't drink when they do, and some might say, I'm doing a 6-pack a day. I mean, how honest are they with you?
Yes, I mean, in every survey, that's what you deal with. So we're going to work through that. Generally speaking, though, kids are more honest than you think. My background is working with kids. They are honest, and I think, as Mike has explained, the situation has gotten a lot worse, and I think the majority of students want us to have the information. They're going to reap the benefits from it.
I have a comment. I don't know if the consent form, is our consent form, schools, or is this part of their survey? It's
Well,
out.
for this particular survey.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I mean, at the bottom of it, it says that you return it within 3 days only if you do not want your child. So a failure to return is an automatic opt-in. I think that should be looked at, and maybe that the default is opt-out.
Just like Ms. Ackerman said too, we can design it however you, I mean, I think it's wonderful information to have for us, but we can design it however you all feel would be safest for our community to take.
Good deal.
I mean, I think it's a great idea too. I'd certainly like parents to be made aware of it.
Yeah. And I assume parents would be notified by a mailer or something like that, or something sent home.
We do have to have that, since it's a survey, you have that 30-day notice for them to review and be, have the ability to opt out or to take it if they want their children to take it. And that would be, so you would send that agreement to us, and then we would sign it. And generally, or at least in the past, for me, this is done sometimes after SOLs. I mean, are most of the folks doing that too this year?
When are SOS?
April to May.
So most of them are doing it between February and March.
Okay, and I was going to say there's some that do it before too. So it would be, I mean, if we want to do it February to March, we need to do it. We need to say yes now, so we can get it out to the parents to review. Otherwise, we'll have to wait till probably after SOLs to.
And that is, if you need time to think about it, we can be flexible.
Yeah. I think, as Mr. Williams said, as long as the default is not opt-in, I would be agreeable to that.
If you all are, would you consider moving this to an action item so we can go ahead and approve it tonight so we can make those changes and get it out to our community?
Can we get a motion to move this survey to an action item for tonight's agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I'll second.
Ms. Porter?
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Can you send that, all that to me? Oh, Amelia, okay. Okay, that's great. Thank you.
I'll add that to
If you want to send me some ideas on how to tweak that language, we'll do that too.
Okay, thank you. Next up on the informational items is discipline and attendance reports. This board wanted to kind of highlight the discipline numbers and the chronic absenteeism numbers that we're kind of dealing with month to month. So that was the intention of adding these informational reports each month. And I will give the mic over there to Mr. Graham to kind of explain some of the nomenclature and the data.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the attendance report is what you see here first, and special thanks to Mr. Whitaker and Ms. Compton for giving us this data. And this, you can see, is the December 2023 report. And what you need to think about here is 94% is what we want. 94% or above is what we want. And you can see Pulaski County High is at 91.4, Pulaski County Middle is at 90, Prizer's at 93.4, Dublin is at 92.5, Pulaski Elementary's at, Pulaski Elementary is 92.5, Riverlawn's at 93.5, and Snowville's at 94. So we want those and, as a division, and they do round this up. They do give us that benefit to 93%. But we want each school, because it's part of your accreditation, each school to meet that 94%. Now, I will tell you that our staff and principals are doing an outstanding job with chronic absenteeism. You hear a lot about that, and the state is really looking at whether they need to continue to mandate that as a accreditation factor, a benchmark for accreditation. You know, it's hard to be responsible for getting children to school. These folks do an outstanding job of it. The incentives they've put in place are working, and I think that's why you're starting, you see these numbers like they are. There's not a day that some of them will go to a house to try to pick up a child and make sure that they get to school, or you know, we have central office folks like Mary Shepperton who will call, and you know, when it gets down to it, we move towards truancy. We don't like to be punitive. We do like to be proactive, and that's what we've asked them to do with their incentive programs, and we are having success from it, even though some of these numbers are below the 94 percentile. But right now it's hard, and it's hard everywhere. It's not just Pulaski County, it's everywhere, and it's a focus of what the governor wants to do. And in our all-in tutoring plan that we have for next year, we have put into that plan a coordinator for truancy to help with Mary and what she's doing as far as trying to advocate to get children to school more. So we're hopeful that by the end of the year that these numbers will reach 94, but again, it's very hard and very difficult to have to wear a hat to get children to school when you're supposed to be teaching and learning with them instead. So that's the attendance report. Any questions for that?
I have a question, Mr. Graham. I'm just looking at the numbers. I wasn't familiar with this form or anything. In the column that comes down that says student membership, and it's at Pulaski County High School, it says 1159 and 780. That column at the very bottom, that's 6,249. Is that total students in Pulaski County schools? What is that number?
Yes, sir.
There's
Now,
6,000?
So I need to ask Ms. Compton, or maybe, does that also include our virtual students?
It looks like it does, yeah. It does.
So that's our out-of-district students in there too, Mr. Williams?
Okay.
And that's why it looks so high.
Okay. Thank you.
Any others?
Any other questions?
Okay, and then if you look at our student behavior report, and I was really pleased with this. For December, you can see on there the categories that we have that are important to us are impeding academic progress, anything that could endanger students or staff when you're there, safety concern, anything related to the school as far as disruptions and disrespect and things of that nature, and then just overall behaviors that we don't really know how to categorize. So the ones that we really have to watch are the ones that are considered persistently dangerous behaviors, and luckily we don't have any of those, and we haven't had any of those this year. Those are anything associated with a weapon being carried to school, serious bodily injury where somebody has to end up in a hospital for a day or so. Those types of things would have to be reported, and then your school division could be deemed a persistently dangerous school. So luckily, we don't have any of that. So I want you to know that. And then you can look on here too, the number of incidents that we had in the month of December is 144, which when you have 7 schools and a really large middle school and a very large high school, that's really, really good. And if you look at the ones that really concern are the endangered, and there's 9 incidents and then 9 offenders, that's also really, really good. Those are the ones that really worry us the most. Now you have the others that sometimes will count as twice on these too. So when you look at the total and the total amount of offenders of 144 and 155, I think our administrators and staff are doing an outstanding job with behaviors.
Can you describe,
Can you describe further what the safety concern category might be?
So that's probably another one that has safety concern would be fighting.
Okay.
Another safety concern would be running out of the school, leaving the classroom, trying to leave the school, anything where it could be a physical altercation with a teacher or a principal, anything like that.
So in danger would involve a weapon, not just your
Danger
hands.
would involve drugs, would involve, and when we talk about weapon, we have had incidents this year, Ms. Cox, too, where there's been a knife brought to school, but when we talk about a weapon for persistently dangerous, you're looking at a loaded gun, a machete, of anything over, a certain amount of length for a blade on a knife, serious threats that actually have been founded by law enforcement, anything that kind of escalates to the point where there's criminal activity within the school, those are type of really persistent, dangerous types of things.
Any other comments, questions, concerns?
No, I mean, the last administration that was here, there was a restorative justice that was in place, and sometimes some of the categories could become skewed. I think for this board, the most important thing is to prove what it really is, what's really going on, so we know where to improve.
Well, so, and I thank you for saying that, Mr. Williams, because one of the things that we've discussed as administrators too is to give them more autonomy as far as their discipline goes.
Yes.
The restorative justice piece has a lot of practical applications to it. I mean, it really does, but when you get down to reality, there has to be some type of consequence. You can't hit a teacher or cuss a teacher out, go out for an hour and talk to that child and try to provide them some restorative justice and implement it back into the classroom. It just simply, we haven't seen it work. I didn't see it work in Radford. I haven't seen it work here. So we have given them the autonomy, and we have really seen I think if you talk to the administrators, I think you'll see that they've seen a change, and they feel more that we as adults are running the schools now rather than the other way around with the children doing that too. So I appreciate you. Now we haven't completely gone away from restorative justice. We still use that quite a bit in cases that does work. But when we have severe behaviors, there are severe consequences.
Okay.
And I will tell you, Dr. Coons has said to us, report as much as you can, because they want to know. They want to know what's going on, and if we have to be disproportionate and discipline as a school division, I'll take that hit right now, because we are seeing a lot better, and I think the children are happier. When I go into the schools, it seems like there's not as much chaos, there's more control, there's a lot of good relationships that are being built. So I think it's working.
Great.
Well, we stand with you, and we stand with our administration on that.
Yes, thank you.
So looking at this is December, so I'm getting compared to November, these numbers look a lot better. So do you feel that having a more accountability-based discipline approach, the message is getting through to the students?
I think so. I mean, I would like to look at what last April looked like, or even September this year, because we were much more busy in September, I would think, as the administrators would tell you, with behaviors. And of course, August and September is when the students are coming back, and we have to have those all the structure and routine put in place, and they have to learn that, and it takes a while. So I think that you're seeing that, and you know, I was really pleased coming back from a long break that we had in the spring. We've missed some school too because of snow, but we've had some good days here. I think Dr. Polch and Dr. Grant will tell you that we haven't had nearly the amount of, I mean, you all haven't had as many discipline hearings as we had at the beginning of the year, so that's another data point that we look at too, is how many discipline hearings are we having.
I guess I can say that I think we're really excited to see the plans that you and Dr. Polcha and Dr. Grant and your admin team have put in place. We're really excited to see us be the top 20 school district in the state of Virginia. I think we're going to get there.
Big goals.
Yeah, hey, shoot big.
That's right.
So the last information item is the calendar items.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And you guys are busy. You're headed to the Capitol Conference on Monday, January 22nd with Ms. Payne and Ms. Cox going, and then you all have your new board orientation. I'm sure you're looking forward. That's really, really good. And then February 13th is our regular school board meeting. And again, if you'll send me dates that you're available, we'll do a workshop session with Mr. Shell to get that ironed out.
I hate to add more meetings, but when will we start talking about the budgetary cycle?
We just had our first meeting with the cabinet and leadership, so I can give you I'll give you a update on that in February.
Fantastic.
Actually, I can give you an update right now. So we have met and we understand our so we outlined priorities and our priorities for the school division for next year. And Morgan has done a really nice job of looking at the budget, and it come back a little better than we expected. Although with the RFP for insurance consultants, that's important for us right now too, because we are hearing that it could be a 15 to 25% increase in insurance. So our priorities right now are to 5 to 6% raise for our staff, trying to keep insurance costs off of our employees. I don't know how hard that'll be with a 25% increase if that's the case. We want to keep the baseline, everything that we had from this year, we want to keep for next year. I asked them if they wanted to send me anything that they didn't need. We haven't had anything yet. And then we would really like to have another art and music teacher at the elementary level. We feel like that's sorely needed.
Yes.
And that's really it right now, because I don't think we'll have much more money than that. 5 to 6% raise is somewhere in the vicinity of $1.3 to $2 million, depending upon how you look at it.
Okay. All right. That moves us to action items. First on the docket is the elementary and secondary second semester field trips for 2024.
And did you all get these too? Okay.
Yes. I think we all have an opportunity to review those. So is there any discussion about the field trips?
The only comment I have is walking around and talking to different parents throughout this year. Parents would ask, how come one elementary school does this and this other elementary school does that? And they were more talking about like the fourth grade field trips and stuff like that. Is there any consistency, or how is it done, I guess?
Well, I think it's up to each school, and you all as a board would like to have more consistency with that, but we like to, again, give the schools the autonomy to go with what they feel is important and what they feel is going to be beneficial for their students. So I don't feel like I should interfere with, because I don't know their school as well as they do.
Mm-hmm.
And the field trips that they choose, and we do love to have children go on field trips because it's such a good education for them. But the field trips that they choose, we feel like they're choosing in the best interest of their school division.
Yeah.
I mean, of their school.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I mean, the fourth grade field trip was kind of like a rite of passage.
Yes.
You know, that was kind of like the big, and all the others and stuff are great and all that kind of stuff. I mean, if possible, and able to, I would like to see every elementary school do a fourth grade field trip, or, something that they can look back on, because I still remember mine, so.
Is that the one to Jamestown? Is that what you're?
I don't know, I'm back in the Jimmy Carter days, back when we were rationing fuel, so I think we might have gone to VMI somewhere.
Sure, thank you.
Any other comments? Hearing none, could I get a motion to approve the elementary and secondary second semester field trips?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Ms. Porter?
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Thank you all.
Next up is the RP for insurance consulting services.
And you all have seen that too. Just briefly, we could entertain having the same insurance consultants that we currently have right now, but we just want to put it out there to see that we're getting the biggest bang for our buck. And there's a lot of really good insurance consultants out there right now, and we're going to put it out. If you approve, we'd like to put it out. If we're here in school tomorrow, we'd like to put it out tomorrow and then have it due February 1, because we are getting into the insurance part. And part of that RFP, if you read it, has the parameters in there that they are also to schedule an RFP to go out for insurances, so that we can compare and see which is going to be best for us as far as a 25% increase is hard.
Yeah.
But when you're competitive, I think that helps too. And we are, Mr. Sweet and Ms. Nichols, myself, Ms. Porter, we have met a few times too, and really are trying to see what we can do to, hopefully, if it is a 15 to 20% increase, what we can do to lower that so it won't be an impact on our employees. So we're really trying to work hard on that, and we sent off all that information that Jefferson Health Plan, which is a company that One Digital is working with, I'm familiar with too, I serve on their board. We sent off documents to them to get an estimate of exactly what to expect, and we should have that. The last part of that was today, the renewals that they needed to review from the last couple of years. So when they have that, they'll give us what to expect next week, and it'll be a true number, and I can share that with you. Not a 15 to 25. It'll be here's what to expect.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the RP insurance consulting services, RFP?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Ms. Porter?
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next up is the added risk survey item. That was an informational item from this afternoon's board meeting. Any questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the risk survey?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Ms. Porter?
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Thank you.
This brings us to final recognition of citizens. The persons may present ideas or concerns regarding Pulaski County Public Schools. The school board at this meeting will take no action. Items presented by citizens may be referred to the superintendent for research, who may report back to the school board at the subsequent meeting or through other communications. These will also be limited to 3 minutes per person. Do we have any takers? I know it's 9 o'clock. We all have Reacher to watch tonight. I'm sorry. Seeing none, I guess that brings us to the end. So thank you guys for coming out and braving the afternoon with us, and we're really excited to see the positive things that we're going to do here in Pulaski County. So with that, let's go home.